We're doing my nails in my salon, so it's a little loud in here. And that's that. And that's all I'm gonna say. But we're just gonna get right in. Right now. So today we were taking these off. This is, I don't know, maybe around 3 or 4 weeks old. Probably 4 weeks. I'm not sure. But if you want a tutorial on how I did these little sunset ombre nails, it's on my Instagram. So go check it out. But say see ya, because we're about to file them off. I have my dust mask. I have my face shield because I'm really allergic to the dust now. Just falling apart over here. And now we're just gonna file it off. So here's my e-file that I use. I'll link it down below. And obviously I'll just link everything down below. This is my e-file bit that I'm gonna use to remove the gel. It's called the T-Rex bit. I know it looks a little scary, but it's not. But first things first, I'm gonna push back my cuticles just to get it ready. That's just my habit. It doesn't really matter the order. So I'm gonna keep one finger in like real time so you can see me file off the gel in real time and see how satisfying it looks. And then for the rest of the hand, I will speed it up because I don't know, I don't want to bore you. But I think the main thing I want you to see here is, yes, I'm filing off the gel color, but I'm also thinning out that base coat underneath because I build my nails with base coat with like an apex, and it builds that strength so my nails aren't super flat. But before I start another manicure and before I put more base coat on, I want to make sure that that old base coat is nice and thinned out and flat, because then when you go to add more base coat and you build that apex again, you're doing it on top of a flat surface instead of on top of like a chunky, wonky old base coat layer. So just note that, use your e-file to make your life so much easier and thin out that base coat before you add more. Okay, I have to do my other hand now. So I need to get, I'm left-handed, so I need to get a right-handed bit. And then flip my e-file forward. So if you're left-handed on your e-file, you make the e-file turn in reverse. And then if you're right-handed, you go forward. So now I need a right-handed bit. And then I'm gonna flip it in forward. Does that make sense? So basically, I'm left-handed, and now I have to file off my left hand with my right hand. So I needed a right-handed bit, and I needed to put my e-file in forward. And you can see how difficult it is. Someone asked me, they were like, how do you do your other hand? And I was like, dude, I don't know. It sucks every time. Look at this grip. Like, look at these knuckles hanging on for dear life. It is so hard every time. I'm definitely not going to show you this whole struggle on this other hand, but I feel like my best tip is just patience and also like anchor your hand. Like you can see, watch my hand. Look at the anchor. I am like glued down to that vacuum. Like, anywho, that's it. Ta-da, look, I'm all done. So easy. Hope you learned a ton. Next, let's do my cuticles. The bit I'm using is called the Russian nib, I believe. I usually use the Russian flame bit because it's a little bit more detailed, but today, that day that I was doing my nails, I was cranky and I really wanted to go home, and I usually find that this cuticle bit goes so much faster. So it's a little less detailed from the bit that I usually use, but man, it's friggin' fast. So I was like, get me out of here, I'm hungry. Okay, so now check it out. You can kind of see on my nails all of that leftover base gel. So all we're gonna do now is shape them, and you'll see while I'm shaping it. I'm so dumb, I just put a piece of gum in. Okay, I took it out. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea while I'm doing a voiceover. Anywho, so I'm shaping it, and you'll see now, this is when I hand file it and make that leftover base coat nice and even. So I'm gonna shape it first and get like the general shape, and then I take that same file and just buff out the surface a little bit. And then once that is like nice and even, I don't see any like divots, then I take my little sponge buffer and buff out any of like the little pokies that the file might have left. So then it's gonna be so smooth for my base coat application. And now that everything is all done and clean, I take my little alcohol acetone mixture cleanser and spritz it on my little nail brush and get all of that dust and any leftover oil off of my nails. And now we're ready. Now we're ready for base coat. And guess what base coat we're using? Peach Base. It is a base coat and a semi-hard gel and a color all in one. So if you really wanted, you can just put top coat on top of it because it's so pretty, and then it would save you so much time and so many different like layers. But anywho, this is what I do to build the base coat. I put a thin layer on and make sure every piece of the nail is covered with that thin layer. And while it's wet, I just glob another sort of blob underneath the cuticle area and bring it down, and then just kind of mess around with it very slightly and wait for it to self-level super nicely. It's like a perfect viscosity, so the self-leveling is so amazing. And I think the big key here is, one, look at it from all angles, because otherwise you might miss something and it might look weird from the side. And two, once it's right where you want it, cure it. I always do one nail at a time, because think about it, you just put so much gel on that nail, and if you just went ahead and did the rest of the nails, by the time you would be done with the pinky, that thumbnail would be just like flooded and all on different sides. So that's it. Those are my tips. And there's the base coat. Look at it, how pretty. You could just put top coat on top of it and just vibe out, but I want to put something else on top. And that something is Desert Road. It's exactly what I want. It's that perfect, like, neutrally brown with a subtle shimmer. Honestly, she's perfect, okay? I don't know what else to say. Except that I made this next part so aesthetic. Just for you. Thanks for watching.